Welcome. We're doing a little thing different. We're starting a little mini series this day. Well, I wouldn't say mini because we might do more than a few, but we wanted to do a little separate series instead of just our long podcast episodes. So we wanted to discuss maybe certain shows that we enjoyed or series that we've enjoyed, um, and general thoughts, questions, all those things. But as always, I'm with my usual co-hosts that I haven't spoke to a long time in this setting, Mako and Lemon.
Hi.
Hi.
So for the first episode, we wanted to go over a very popular series that, as of recording, the second season is going to start tomorrow. So it is for Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, full title. I'm assuming everyone knows the show, but just a quick synopsis is about the main character, Frieren, and the journey after they quote unquote beat the main boss, which was the Demon Lord in this situation, and just Frieren's journey of experiencing the world. We have kind of a few topics that we wanted to go over, kind of like a general review of the show, and we'll go from there, I guess. Let's see. Let's kind of go with just kind of the order that we chose our questions. So kind of over the show is just like our feelings when watching the show. Did the show make us feel anything? Um, was there frustrating parts? Was there enjoyable parts? Did you shed some tears? You know, uh, did you end up like me and fall in love with Frieren? Those type of things. But I guess
Show or the character?
this show. Oh! You're asking about me and my statement right there. Oh yeah, definitely the character. Okay, so yeah, very very quickly. Yes, Frieren is definitely my top waifu now. Um, I currently have uh 4 figures.
What you do?
Yeah. I told Lemon, but I haven't told you, Mako. I might have bought like 10 figures, and so they're like on pre-order with a few of them.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
And then I got the DVDs, and I got the like limited second season set that has like her briefcase and a couple like artwork type stuff. So to go with that question, did the show make me feel anything? Um, I'm kind of mostly joking with romantic
Love.
feelings. Yes, love, I guess. Uh, but and there's a few other shows that are like this, like Vinland Saga and other ones, but it's one of those shows that made me want to just keep watching, have that anticipation of what's going to happen in the next episode. Is this still going to be super chill, or is it going to like have some action, like with the episode when Stark finally like has the courage to fight? You know, it it's it's very good at its melancholic. I believe that's the right term. Melancholy, like
Oh,
the pacing.
melancholic.
Yes, thank you. Like the
Yeah.
pacing for that, and it's actually good at switching to the exciting parts. So it made me excited and it made me melancholic, like in the same day. So, um, so that, like to answer that question, I would say yes, yes, it made me feel those emotions while watching throughout the series, and sometimes on the same episode.
Yeah, that's high praise. For me, I mean, it didn't get its hooks into me as deeply, but if we're talking about like feelings, I think it's the music that got to me. Because like listening to the music, I'm like, this is way above what you would expect from most shows in general, much less an anime. But it sounds like they have a full orchestra just, ready for every single scene.
So sorry to if you don't mind me commenting on that. So
Yeah, because I'm sure you know more about it.
Evan Call was the producer and director for the music, and he does the music for a few other shows. But one show that I know that you enjoyed was Violet Evergarden. He wrote the music and he did so some of the songs are very similar. But yeah,
Oh, sorry, I was holding that in. Like, wow. Yeah, that tracks because Violet has really beautiful orchestral music too. Like,
mhm.
oh my gosh. What was his name?
Evan Call.
Evan Call. I'll have to remember that because he's really talented.
Yep, yep.
Thank you. Um,
Oh,
I feel
oh,
like,
yeah,
or do
sorry,
you have
go
more to say, Mako?
ahead. Just that, like, I liked how they had music for every situation. Like, they have sweeping, beautiful violin music for when they just want to show you some pretty, like, background art, of the characters walking through the forest or through a field of flowers. But then they'll get into, like, this almost like upbeat Celtic music whenever there's a fight. Something that gets you kind of excited, but it's also fun. That's one of the things I like about Frieren. It's that it does get heavy when it needs to be, but it's also pretty lighthearted too. So, but yeah, that's all I had to say.
Cool.
There you go. Yeah, I guess a short answer from you would be yes, I really did enjoy it. I definitely finished it towards the end. I guess it's a big waiting for a show if it actually makes the audience watch towards the end. But I think for me, I really liked that it was a bit more lower stakes. Like it wasn't like oh fate of the world type of thing as we go go on this quest to save the world, but kind of exploring the aftermath of like what happens after heroes defeat the big bad and stuff. So I thought it was kind of cool and kind of a breath of fresh air. Um, I also liked because the typical like fantasy world, like Tolkien-esque fantasy world with humans, dwarves, elves, and all that. The main character's an elf, and I liked how they actually showed the difference between the two because Freeman's an elf, but like actually kind of explores what it's actually like what's like to be an elf and like how they probably would be after living 1,000 years, And I feel like a lot of like the properties kind of just depict elves as like, oh, just 20-year humans that act exactly as humans except more fancy. But they actually explored like what it's like to kind of be an elf and how they would actually act if they and how they would see humans because to her she's like, oh, 10 years, we could be around 10 years and just chill. But to humans it's like heck no, like 10 years is like a good chunk of our lives, and stuff. So I like that
Yeah.
I explored that aspect of it a bit more.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like they do that pretty well just with all the flashbacks they do. Like you see her friends or her party back when they were in their prime, and then, you see him all right before his death when he's like this really short man, totally bald with a big white beard. And then the priest guy, the corrupt priest, she keeps calling him, she hangs out with him for the last like 15, 20 years of his life. And the dwarf's the only one who's kind of holding on, but even he's starting to look old. But you get to see that contrast, and yeah, I kind of get a better sense for how elves view things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fun. Uh um Heisen think he's like 120 or something when their party was going around, and now it's 50 years later, so it's getting closer to the 200 or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Were you wanted to say something, Lemon?
Um, yeah, I can't really think of any moments that really like made me like cry or bawl very much. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've become desensitized where like it takes a lot for me to like actually like kind of do a physical crying, but
Sounds
overall though,
cool.
yeah.
I'm joking. now I'm
Um,
you guys probably go ahead.
well, I guess since we're talking about more than just like, just like oohs and ahs. Um, I did end up feeling like a lot of kind of awe, if that makes sense, because there were, even outside the music, there was a lot of beautiful animation and drawings, and then like there were some hype moments, like when Frieren fights the clone. Like, oh my gosh, so many lights and colors going around, and like everything's chaotic, but at the same time, it doesn't, for the most part, it doesn't like lose the plot of the battle, where you can still kind of tell what's going on. And then, like, one of my favorite parts is when she kills Aura, because, like, they build up to it saying, like, she's learned how to hide her mana. And so, what's going to happen. But just the way that she shows her full power, and it's just swirling like 20 feet away from her, it's this huge pillar of light. And then the scales turn against Aura, and Frieren just says, "Aura, kill yourself," and then walks away. I'm like, whoa. Like, it's just stuff like that. That was pretty cool. And then one part that frustrated me was it was just when Stark was fighting the demon girl. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm getting the wrong idea of it. Like, I shouldn't be frustrated, but somehow, like, my first feeling was, you just killed a dragon. Like, come on, just take her out. But
Okay.
she was also copying his master's fighting style, so maybe she was tougher than the dragon. I don't know.
Yeah, so this kind of ties in with one of the follow-up questions, what could have been better, and if we would change anything. That
Oh yeah,
that is probably one of the weaker sides of him, but that's it. The dragon was like his first true fight. He's never actually fought anything before, and I think he did a couple other stuff when they were traveling through, and then the demon girl fight is like his second actual big fight. Um, and you definitely have a point. You know, he he does have more confidence, but yeah, how did he forget he killed the dragon? It's just one of the things. It's like, hey, his character could be a little better in that area. The other areas, I think he's perfectly fine. I love him and Fern and their interactions and everything. Like the dancing part. Uh, Great episode, by the way. And
yeah.
with Frieren eating her piece of cake. I guess that's something that could have been better. She could have had two pieces of cake instead of just one piece of cake, but whatever.
It's
But yeah, sorry. Going with Stark, I I hope that in this next season he has that confidence, and so because like his master Heiter, I believe it's Heiter. Hopefully, I'm not mixing. I always Heis because there's Heisen and Heiter, and um.
yeah. I think Hyder was the drunk priest.
Okay, okay. So it's Heisen. I'm pretty sure that. Oh gosh, it's been like a year now since I've watched the show, but um, he had that same aspect. He was always nervous in a fight, and I think that kind of transferred in a way, I guess you could say, to Stark. Um, I can't remember who says it. Maybe it was Himmel, but it was like because he was nervous, he stayed alive. He was cautious. He didn't run into things, and then when he made moves, he did what he think would be best in that situation. So I don't know. It's also his first time dealing with demons too. They, they look like a human, so he might have been more sympathetic because it looked human. But then when he sees, he's like, okay, this is actual demon, and it's trying to kick me out. He kind of puts in the gear. He just one shots everything. he's a fun guy.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, just kill the demon girl.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping he's more straightforward with that. He's like, okay, I took out her. Let's try this again. Don't just rush. But I have this experience now.
Yeah, and it's like his nerves aren't always a bad thing. Like, because it ends up making him kind of the comic relief. Like when he gets hit with some spell and he starts getting a nosebleed, and they go to meet a priest who says, "Oh, there's nothing I can do. His brain's gonna liquefy and come out his nose in like 2 hours." He's like, just why would you tell me that? Like, it's funny, but yeah, I think at the same time he does need to kind of evolve as a character. So show more of that, hey, I killed a dragon thing. No more of this, it's taking me forever to kill this demon girl thing. Just kill it.
Interesting. I didn't think about that fight in that way, so it's kind of fun to hear that. How about you, there, Lemon? Anything you think that could have been better?
So I have kind of a weird complaint about the show. Towards the end, I've noticed a lot of the characters. I mean, for Frieren, this makes sense, but a lot of like the human characters and stuff did not show a lot of emotion, like at all. Like animation wise, like their faces are just like blank and bored looking throughout like the fights and also like just random moments. Spoiler alert: something happens and a dude literally gets cut in half by another person, and two people watching it don't even like bat an eye. They just have the same expression, same face, and I don't know. I think part of me wonders like were they trying to go for the cool, a real cool thing where like oh these characters are so into it they're not scared or angry, they're just so into it. But it makes sense for Frieren to like kind of have that where she's fighting without showing like a lot of emotion because she's an elf, she's 1,000 years old, she's been around and seen a lot of things. But I noticed it for like a lot of characters. Like I think it might be like a mage thing where like the mages are so focused on casting spells, but I don't know. I wonder if maybe the animation budget was put somewhere else and they didn't want to like put much emotion into the characters' faces. But yeah, it's kind of a weird. That's one thing I noticed towards the end that kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I would have to look at the author's works and see if that's normal for them. But I think, especially with the mage part, I think you're spot on about that kind of straight faced because they have to focus on like their defenses and everything. Um, I'm trying. I hope I'm not like trying to justify it, but uh, I will say that they do show more emotion when it is like the calm situations, like you see their smiles and everything. Like the only one that like doesn't do that isn't like calm looking is probably Ubil. Like she has the joy in fighting. And I will say that like with that contrast, because everyone's stone faced, you kind of know how like more crazy she is because of it.
So yeah,
Mm.
she always has like this kind of smug smirk.
Yeah.
I guess I think it's because she's crazy. She's
But
always got a crazy smirk on her face.
yeah, no, I didn't really think about that um, until you brought that up.
Yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
wonder because I wonder if there's like an animation thing because like the animation be going crazy around them, like when they cast a spell, like the whole environment's changing. So I kind of wonder if like maybe all the animation budget went towards that instead of like animating their faces, or maybe it's like an anime thing where like they try to make the characters seem like really cool and like I wouldn't say edgy, but like I don't know, they're trying to be really cool, so not showing much emotion. You know, I wonder if that's like a anime trope that I just catching on to, but.
Yeah. Personally, you have to ask the author, but personally, I think it's just that focus and that fight thing that you mentioned. It's just, um, your fights aren't really for fun. Most of them are, they possibly might die in this situation, so you are just watching, not necessarily showing that emotion. But no, that's a good point. All right, let's continue here. Okay, we kind of already answered the one other question we had. Just did we have fun watching it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's enjoyment.
yeah.
I,
As oh, go ahead.
well, like I said, it helps that it's not. It doesn't get too heavy a lot of the time. Like it manages to balance being heavy and being lighthearted, and that's what I like. I mean, for me personally, that works out great. So, like you said, they have all these episodes where it's just the three of them exploring or wandering around a town, and that's where you get to see their personalities more on display. Like, there was the one where Fern's trying to get a birthday present for Stark, and she finds him sitting on a bench making stupid comments about the clouds, like, "Oh, that one looks like a dog turd," and stuff like that. So like, oh yeah, Stark's like a solid guy, but he's kind of an idiot too.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's some part where Frieren just like falls asleep while they're walking. So she falls face first in the snow. And Stark's like, "Well, I can carry her," and Frieren gets like this pouty face and goes, "No, I should do it." Like, you see how she's like protective of Frieren. It's it's
Well,
like, go ahead.
she also didn't want him touching another woman.
Oh, you think so?
There, it there are definitely signs of them liking each other. Like I don't know if you remember, I can't remember his name because he's only there for good 7 episodes, but he's still a fun character. But he's like, just date already.
Oh, is it the priest guy?
The one that joins them later on,
Yeah.
and so they do like each other, but they're very innocent. It's a very innocent, slow romance.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, no, both of those reasons. Yeah, she is protective of Frieren because of when the other lady is like trying to hug her in the in the dungeon, and she gets like all jealous and pouty. So like, pushes her away, grabs her. That's really fun.
I think my favorite part of the show is when Frieren revives like an archdemon from the past and reveals that um, the like the super strong
Oh,
defensive spell that she invented is like become like common like practice now. So like everyone, so it's like she's like brought this guy back alive like 50 years later just to show how dated he's become, and then just kills him.
the
Oh,
demon general that made Zoltrek.
Yep.
yeah. On this kind of sliding into what did you think of it critically? That's one of the things I really liked about it was that it was clever. Like she brings back this demon guy who was famous for making this like killing magic, and like Hammer was saying, or like Lemon was saying, it's been decades. So by now, his like special, unique killing style is really common. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That's smart. That's clever. But then they still show how dangerous he is because when they start blocking his spells, he figures out pretty fast how their shield magic works and starts working around it.
Yes,
So it's like
yes,
he's still a threat. He's just out of time.
yes. Yeah, no, you brought exactly what I wanted to say about him. You know, they they do a good job with people that they're going to fight most of the time. The other two demon characters, like the one that had his string attack uh, type thing that he tried getting Frieren in the jail cell and all that, like they didn't really dive deep into those guys. Um, but he was one of the demon generals, and people were speculating that might have been even stronger than the demon lord at the time because we haven't seen the fight because of how smart he was. If he had like another half an hour, he would have figured out that defensive spell and how it worked. Easy.
Yeah, well, I remember Freeman saying we have to end this fight soon because he's already figuring out how to get around the shield spells.
Yeah. He's such an interesting character because he shows curiosity as a human, and he was prideful as a demon, but that combination, it made him dangerous. But um, critically, going off something we were talking about previous to recording, you know, as of right now, when I last looked, I'll check. Maybe it changed slightly because new seasons just happened. It was the highest rated. Excuse me. My anime list, highest rated anime. Um, it beat out Full Metal Alchemist, and it was still in that position when I looked. And so generally, a lot of people enjoy it. Um, it's just you have to, if it's still not your type of style of show, that it doesn't matter how high rated it is. But overall, critically, I think it's very well done. Music's well done. Characters are well. Even the dub is fine.
Yeah, actually, I can't I can't stand voice acting in a lot of animes because it's just like it's a lot of screaming, and with the Japanese ones, it's at least funny sometimes, but with the American ones, it gets annoying.
Yeah.
And but with this one, it's like I actually like listening to the dub because it's pretty well done. I like that they gave Frieren a deep voice.
Quite a few people like it as well, especially when Stark first beats the dragon. He's like, "Good job!" And everyone's like, "Oh, mom."
That was a fun show.
Oh, and then she gets into like this goofy little girl voice too. She's like, "Now all this stuff is mine."
Yeah,
So yeah, like I feel like the English cast does a great job.
and that's kind of like a an example of how it's good because that they got good voice actors for other languages as well because they want to make sure it's fine. But how about you, Mako? Any other thoughts on how was it good critically?
Well, if you're asking Lemon, Lemon thinks it was really
Oh,
well quickly.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Lemon. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, yeah, I think, like I said before, like critically wise, I liked how it portrayed elves in a different way, and like the fight scene towards the end, um, where they're fighting all the clones. That was really cool and clever, and I liked how they explain magic as not necessarily like a one's more powerful and everything. It's like they describe it as a rock paper scissors situation. Like some magic is really powerful, but was really weak against X, Y, and Z type of thing, like rock, paper, scissors. And I think critically, I think that did really well in that department.
Oh, and since you brought that up, there's one part that I really liked was when they're building up to how Frieren's going to reveal her mana, and her teacher telling her why she should suppress it and hide it. And she goes on to say, like, with humans, if someone wants to show that they're important, then they wear fancy clothes and jewelry. But with demons, if they want to show they're important, then they just show off all their mana all at once. So the idea of not doing it is just weird to them, because it's like, it'd be like a rich person walking around in rags. So I thought, yeah, that's actually kind of clever. Like I said, it's just a clever show.
All right. Well, let's finish up with our final thoughts. Not necessarily overarching thing. I just want to ask one last question. We no need to dive into it, but it's just like, what's one of your favorite scenes for the show? And then for me, one of my favorite scenes. There's a lot of them, but probably when I have the worst memory with names, but when the mage, it's during the trials of becoming a first class mage, and he's like a second class, he's like a soldier type thing, older guy, but they all are out of mana, and so he just takes off his shirts. It's like we're out of mana, but we're not out of options. So they have a fist fight over the bird.
Yeah.
All right, how about you guys? What's one of your favorite scenes?
I know I said earlier I really like the Zoltroth where she brings him back and kills him, but now I'm thinking about it, I really like the scene where like she visits her old mentor and then casts her favorite spell and just like covers a field with flowers. I thought that was kind of like a nice, pretty, like even though she's like, oh, it's a useless spell, but she used it anyways in honor of her mentor type thing. Very sweet and nice.
Go.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that scene too. For me, like I said, it's just when she kills Aura, it was such a hype moment. Aura, kill yourself, and then just walks away without looking at her.
Go. And for any listeners, we are just quoting the show. Don't demonetize us. But that was fun.
For
Thanks
HR,
for
that's a joke.
huh? Oh, yes.
For HR, that's a joke.
But
Yeah.
thanks for joining, everyone. Hopefully we had a good time with this. I'm super excited for the next season that is coming out. Gonna try to get this out right before, but we'll do our best otherwise. And we probably won't go over the second season. I don't want to really do episodic type reviews unless we get really popular and you guys want that. And we have a lot of people on Patreon, maybe. But otherwise, we'll just do this maybe over older shows, maybe over new shows, just ones that we think are fun, not necessarily anime. But yeah, hopefully everything's going well. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.